My smart sprinkler system wasn't supposed to do anything except keep my lawn alive during the Arizona heat. But one quiet Tuesday morning, as I was sipping coffee on the back porch, my phone buzzed with an alert I had never seen before. Flow rate unusual, possible water diversion detected. That message was the hook that yanked me straight into a mystery I didn't know I was living in. At first, I thought it was a glitch. Technology makes mistakes, especially gadgets more intelligent than the people who invented them. But when I stepped outside, the sensors were blinking like they'd caught someone red-handed. The soil was damp, but not where my sprinklers were set to run. Instead, a narrow line of wet earth snaked from my irrigation box straight toward the HOA's perimeter trail. I followed the damp path like breadcrumbs. By the time I reached the property line, my suspicion was already growing. I'd lived here for 30 years, long before the HOA formed, long before they decided every yard had to be uniform, and long before they discovered how nice it was to spend other people's money. The rising action began when I opened the irrigation control box. Inside, a connector cap was missing, and a second, hose-thin, clear line had been patched into my water supply. Someone had tapped into my system like it was a public utility. I knelt down and traced the line underground, following it with my hands and eyes until I reached a row of fresh dirt near the HOA's walking path. That's where the line vanished. I knew exactly who would blame me the moment I brought it up. The HOA president, Sandra, was standing outside the clubhouse handing out flyers when I approached. She always wore an expression like the entire neighborhood was her responsibility and her burden. When I explained that my smart sprinklers had detected water theft, she barely blinked. Underground pressure variations, she said, waving her hand dismissively. It's common during seasonal changes. I raised an eyebrow. Sandra, someone dug into my irrigation box and attached a hose. She didn't miss a beat. Probably roots, or soil expansion. Perfectly natural. Soil expansion, my foot. That was the conflict. I knew she was lying. She knew I knew, but HOAs thrive on pretending everything is normal while quietly shifting responsibility onto the homeowner, especially older ones who they assume won't push back. But they underestimated me. My comeback began that night. I invited my neighbor, a retired civil engineer named Ron, to help me. He brought a ground moisture scanner, one he used for detecting irrigation faults back when he consulted for farms. Together, we followed the moisture patterns farther down the path. It led directly to the HOA's community garden. A garden that had just been expanded without a budget vote. A garden that needed water. A garden whose hose bib had been shut off for months because the HOA refused to pay for the extra water usage. And suddenly, my mysteriously high water bill made perfect sense. I dug carefully along the path behind the garden fence. It didn't take more than 10 minutes to uncover the clear siphon line running from my property to the garden's irrigation manifold. Someone in the HOA had literally stolen water from my property to keep their pet project alive. I took photos. Lots of photos. The rising action continued the next morning when I requested an emergency HOA review meeting. Sandra tried to dismiss it again, but as soon as I displayed the photos complete with timestamps, everyone in the room leaned in closer. Even the usually silent treasurer's jaw dropped. Sandra tried one last time. This is runoff. Just typical underground flow. I tapped my phone twice. My smart sprinkler app displayed a clear usage log. Runoff doesn't install fittings, Sandra. Finally, the room fell silent. That's when the payoff hit. The vice president asked me to continue. I explained everything from the alerts to the hose line to the dug-up trench. There was no denying it. The HOA garden was tapping into my water supply. The treasurer immediately demanded to know who approved the irrigation changes. A few board members exchanged nervous looks. Turns out, Sandra had ordered the garden expansion herself, no vote, no budget approval, and definitely no permission to alter utilities. When she realized the board was turning on her, she tried shifting the blame onto the landscapers. But the landscapers quickly provided receipts, proving she had requested the work off the books. By the end of the meeting, Sandra was removed as president. The HOA voted to reimburse my water costs for the past year, and the garden irrigation was shut down pending a legal review. The best part, several neighbors thanked me afterward, saying they'd always suspected something shady but never had proof. I didn't need to raise my voice. I didn't need to threaten a lawsuit. I simply trusted my smart sprinklers and followed the truth straight to the HOA's door. Funny thing, that system paid for itself twice over in 1 week. Before I wrap up, if you're enjoying stories like this, real homeowner struggles, HOA drama, and everyday surprises that turn into big discoveries, don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you never miss a new upload. And I'd love to know, where are you watching from today? Let me know in the comments.